Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Bryce with The Strength Athlete. So on the back of that conversation I just had about originality, about sharing resources, about creating a community where we can all thrive off of each other's successes and just continue to improve off of what we're all making, I'm sharing another resource, and this is for tracking workouts, and this is something I've been working on for a little while now, and I'm very excited to be sharing this with you, and I'll be using this with my athletes that are running auto-regulated programs as well. So required is that you understand RPE, that you're using a program that's auto-regulated, that you understand what fatigue percents are, and that your program has a few restraints, that it's 5 days at most, and that you are comfortable tracking 4 exercises per day. If you want to do more but not track them on the sheet, that's perfectly fine. But I feel like for most of my athletes, 4 per day is totally fine. Right, so I will be breaking things down. Let's start off with this custom Rpe chart. Now, it's known that you can make your own custom Rpe charts that are a little bit more tailored to your specific work capacities on individual lifts. All that information is available on the RTS forums as well, or if you just search RTS custom, it should come up as well. But in the top right, we have the standard Rpe chart, where we have the number of reps across the top and the Rpe across the side. So for instance, 2 reps at a 9 turns out to be roughly 90%, although for some that may not be perfectly accurate, which is the reason for creating custom Rpe charts. So down here is a small calculator we can use. So let's say my squat 1 rep max is 550. Maybe I can do 4 reps with 505. Maybe I can do 8 reps with 475. And these are things that it would be a great idea to actually test. Actually, that's a little on the high side. There we go. That looks about right. Okay, so let's pretend that's accurate. Then, as you can see, every time I change those values, the squat custom Rpe chart changed as well. So we have everything above 90% in red, everything between 80 and 90 in yellow, anything below 80% in green. And that will become relevant in just a little bit. But so this page functions relatively independently. Now, if we go over to the training page and we take a look at the beginning, we'll see that each training day has a number of different options for it, and each exercise has a number of different options as well. So for instance, if I'm doing squats for my first movement, it makes sense that the category should be squat, but there are 4 category choices. Either it's squat-like, bench press-like, or deadlift-like, and each of those will add it to volume totals for the week. So for instance, deadlift, you can probably add in rack pulls, deficit pulls, things like that, and similar considerations for these others. Or if it's an accessory or tricep movements or something, NA is perfectly acceptable, in which case it won't add the exercise to the tally for total volume. At the very beginning here, we can choose between any one of the 5 available Rpe charts: squat, bench press, deadlift, average, or standard. And since most people using this probably will just be using the standard Rpe chart, I've just left it on standard. But again, if you end up customizing your Rpe charts, it's very easy to click over and just change this to the squat chart. And you'll see when I do that the estimated 1 rep max actually changes. So if I was just using the standard chart, I may be led to believe that my 1 rep max for squat in this case is 571. But if I use my custom chart, it turns out that it's actually closer to 537. So again, these are totally made up numbers, but that would just be an example of what is possible. Cool. So these titles here don't really matter a whole lot. This is just something I got from an RTS template in the book that Mike Tuchscherer put out. So you're welcome to either use these or just insert your own program. I'm mainly providing this as a tool for tracking workouts and making informed decisions. So I'm really, really excited and happy to be sharing this. Okay, for each exercise as well, we've got the name for the exercise, number of reps, RPE, the fatigue percent, and then a set cap. And the set cap is totally optional as well. I can just put in some dashed lines there. So cool. Now, when it comes time to actually tracking things, there's only 3 things that you really have to enter. The top set, the number of back offsets, and any notes you want. Everything else is taken care of. Now, I put in a note column because I personally love putting in notes for my exercises. It's important for me to write things like feeling a little bit tight, or increase next week, or was a little bit fatigued from Monday, or all of those different considerations, so that when I go back and look, I actually have a little bit more context to my data. But as far as entering in values, like I said, it's important to enter it in as a weight by reps at RPE. So that will look something like 315, and then you can put in as many spaces as you want between, but 1 is totally fine, by 3 at 9. And you'll see that when I do that, it takes the information for my specific exercise, notably the load here and the fatigue percent, and it will calculate my back offset plan. So you don't have to put that into a calculator. It's all here available. As well as my estimated 1 rep max based off of my top set. So I'll put in the number of back offsets I've done, and we'll see that down below it adds that to the deadlift tally and auto calculates total volume and gives me a pie graph of the rough distribution, actually not rough, exact distribution of my total volume for the week. And this will update as you progress through the week, which is important for planning proportions of the total volume of, let's say, deadlift to squat or something like that. That if you really wanted to focus on bench press for a program, it would probably be important to be getting more than 33% of your total volume from bench press. Anyway, just one example of how you can use this. So, continue to track data across and look at trends and see trends, hopefully that you're increasing in total volume or moderating volume in some specific way. So, I'll go ahead and add in a second week here of data just by copying these over. And you'll see that not only does it update the tally for the volume for that specific week, but now we get to break down and look at volume by movement. And that's why these categories are so important, because now I can take a look at what's happening with my squat volume on a week-to-week basis, what's happening with my bench volume on a week-to-week basis, and my deadlift volume. So we can take a look and see, oh wow, actually my squat volume is going up, but it looks like my deadlift volume is about the same or going down. So the numbers actually end up having meaning now, instead of just getting lost in the mire here. We get a little bit more context to the data. So very excited about this, and we get some more training tools. Some important notes. Don't change these back offsets. These are auto-calculated. Don't change the estimated 1 rep max cells. They're also auto-calculated, as well as a bunch of this other stuff. I would advise against inserting more weeks, because this is designed just for 10 weeks, and I haven't figured out a way yet to have it automatically select certain values. So it's great for 10 weeks, but not so good after that. But I did implement a second block here in case you wanted to change to higher RPEs for intensification, or use it for meet prep or any other considerations, or totally change exercises as well. So there's 4-week beginning cycle, I guess, and then a 6-week main cycle, if you want to call it that. Or there's 100 different ways to use this template. And I want you guys to be creative. Go have fun with it, mess around with it. Make it your own. This little chart here will populate with the weekly squat values that the graphs take, and generally that's about it. So it stops after week 6, and I think it's pretty accessible. Just a note as well, this is a totally made up program, so this is not something I've designed. I just put in exercises just willy-nilly, so don't go using it and then telling me I didn't get good results because of I used Bryce's program and it was crappy. I'm just making this available, and let's build on this. Let's make this better. And again, if you want to combine this with the weight tracking graph, the yearly planner as well, you've got a pretty powerful system put together to make informed decisions going forward. All right, share it as always, and have fun.